Oh my goodness, everybody breathe. Norwich City have gone to Wales, picked up 3 points, and will be returning to Norfolk very happy. Any point that Norwich pick up between now and the end of the season is going to hold real value, but 3 on the road against a very informed Wrexham side feel priceless. I think going into the game today, most of us would have bitten sort of your hand off for a single point and a decent performance, but to walk away, as I say, with all 3 and 2 brilliant goals and a really sort of rugged championship performance, I am immensely satisfied. And Philippe Clement, who has spoken about Norwich and character and what they need to show to win matches, I'm sure will be really pleased. It wasn't perfect, but Norwich City, as we keep saying on this channel, are in a dogfight. They're fighting for their lives. The expectations aren't unrealistic from fans in terms of what to expect in terms of performance levels, but that was probably about as good as we could have expected away from home. Wrexham, I think it's 4 league wins in a row, and then that FA Cup penalty shootout win against Premier League opposition. They would have been really up for it today, and to be honest with you, they were. But Norwich City, I wouldn't, if I was a Wrexham fan, I don't think I'd feel particularly hard done by about a defeat, but equally, they had chances. They had chances to get at least a point. It was a proper, scrappy championship game, which did have some moments of quality, and thankfully Norwich can sort of benefit from those, and they took their chances that they created, and yeah, they returned back to Norfolk, hopefully with a bit more confidence, and as I said, 3 really important points. Now, looking at the game and the starting lineup, nothing particularly offensive in there. It's nice to see Ali Ahmed included. Ben Slimane probably earned his position in the number 10 role after that Walsall performance. Makama obviously starting up top, through performance levels, but also through the drama that we shan't be mentioning on this video. As I said, nothing particularly offensive about that lineup. Cordoba came back in, missed out the last league game, looked all right. Pelamatz and McLean again in the middle, very decent. Fisher out on the right, good. Cresceni I thought was really poor today. Ben Cresceni's performance levels, just to get a quick whinge out of the way, they fluctuate too much for me. There are times where he looks decent, and like he should be that sort of natural left back choice, but there are performances like today where it just frustrates the hell out of you. But he's a young player. Philippe Clement is probably still new and demanding different things of him, maybe, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but it was a poor performance from him. But that opening sort of 15-minute spell from Norwich, including the goal and sort of the chance where Ahmad hit the bar, I thought they looked electric. Really sort of put the pressure on Wrexham early doors, and it gave you that feeling of, is today going to be one of those days? Slimane with some really neat touches. Ahmed looked electric. When he signed, we spoke about what these sort of compilation videos mean, and one thing I sort of said was, when a player does something over and over again in a compilation, no matter sort of how you edit it, it's clearly something they like to do. And his assist was getting the ball, coming inside, picking out a player, goal scored. A nice finish from Slimane. I don't take anything away from the finish, but Ahmed's desire in those sort of first 15 minutes to just get at the defender, man, it was refreshing. And he just looks like that natural wide option, which going forward, as he builds up match fitness, as he builds up strength and sort of that general sharpness that will get him adjusted fully to the championship, I look forward to seeing how he develops, and obviously struck the crossbar with a really nice effort. Slimane returning the favour almost with an assist of his own, and then after that, and clearly the sort of the halftime team talk worked quite well, because between then and halftime things weren't great at all. Norwich seemed to just, it feels almost harsh now. I've got the high of the fact that we've won the game, but it feels like Norwich just sort of shriveled up, and almost, I don't know if they looked tired. They just looked as if they'd switched off, and I don't know why. I can't quite put my finger on why. Because the running was there, the intensity was almost there. It's just, I think Wrexham knocked it up a gear, and actually now I think about it and sort of say it out loud, Wrexham have got some proper, some real good quality for this division in that team. they just upped their game, and I can't remember for the life of me the winger's name, who was just absolutely roasting Chris Seny. And obviously, Wrexham's equaliser comes from a cross, and Norwich's ability to stop crosses remains, to be seen, which is almost a travesty at times. But at half time, the game goes one of two ways: either Norwich crumble and fold, and Wrexham at home, in their good vein of form, sort of just go and score a couple, and that's it. And we sort of look at another away game and another defeat, blah, blah, blah. But Norwich actually sort of pulled the socks up and got on with it, and were up for the fight. And I'm just really pleased. And obviously, just a quick thought to whoever was enduring the medical emergency that stopped the game. Really horrible thing, obviously, with the sad passing of the supporter at Carrow Road. Sadly, that sort of thing is too common in football. And just a moment to sort of spare some thoughts and hope that they're okay. Obviously, the game then resumed, which hopefully means that person was taken away and seen to. But from a Norwich City perspective, that second half, really rugged, really dogged, really intense. And don't get me wrong, Wrexham had chances to equalise, probably could have, and maybe even should have, but they didn't. And we're here with 3 points. Kovacevic, I wondered how long I could go without mentioning him, really. Makes my head spin in the nicest way possible as a supporter watching. It seems to be a thing now, doesn't it? And it's a conversation I'm sure we'll continue to have until either the form is ironed out and the consistency there, or he's replaced. He can make the most amazing of saves, like we saw. I don't remember what minute it was. It was fairly late in the game, an unbelievable save, and it's almost as if I wish every shot was like that against him, because there's almost, when it comes to instincts and reflexes, he's phenomenal. But when it comes to sort of using this, I just don't quite get what's going on. That weird little instant, and I think it was Broadhead or someone or more was offside, where Cordoba heads the ball back and they get themselves in a little faff in the 90th, 91st minute. It's just stuff like that where Norwich City and Philippe Clement need to work on composure and how they see games out. And I'm not expecting the levels of Southampton at home to be reached every week, because that's unattainable form. You cannot expect that. But they need to get back towards that end of the scale, where towards the end of a game, silly things don't happen. For example, that McConville header, I kind of empathise now looking back on it again without sort of hate in my eyes, because we've won. But that McConville header that goes up and the cross that comes back in, and the save that Vlad has to make, it feels avoidable. But the caveat is that it was a very informed side, as I keep saying, at home, who have just a really good squad, and are much further down the line in terms of their journey than Norwich. So I think this is a really impressive and a really, really valuable 3 points for Norwich City. It was nice to see Diallo back out there, got himself into a decent position for, I think, when Makama sort of dinked it to no one, and also then almost created that chance for Springett. So hopefully Norwich now have two sort of legitimate options out wide. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? That, sort of seeing Ahmed in the first 15 minutes was a bit like, oh my God, is this what it's like to have a winger? It was a tremendous feeling. And I want to sign off by talking about Jovon Makama. Sort of, I think it was after the goal, really. The goal seemed to spark him into life and started using his body a lot more, and actually having those chances towards the end of the game, where the game opened up and Wrexham pushed forward and he found himself in behind a couple of times. And, again, the decision-making wasn't quite there, but what a talent Norwich City have on their hands. That finish was absolutely sublime. To talk in a real old school football cliche, that was a proper striker's finish, sort of caresses it across from the goalkeeper. It's an unstoppable effort, in my opinion, the way he sort of strokes the ball with the inside of his foot away from the goalkeeper. If you ever played in goal, you're never stopping that. And he really is developing into, very slowly but surely, into a mature footballer that Norwich can rely on when they play that long ball. And it's, with someone like, and we'll mention his name, someone like Josh Sargent, he can win his headers, but I don't think he's quite the threat. Well, he isn't at all, like Makama can be and will be going forward, just because of the sheer height, the pace, the physicality, that sort of all rolled into one. But yeah, the timing of Makama and his form is amazing as well, because Norwich City needs someone up front that they can rely on in these, what are very trying times. So the fact that he's stepped up is really pleasing. I thought Shvartau's little cameo when he came on was okay. Did a lot of running, a couple of decent touches. What else can you say, really? But yeah, on the whole, relieved more than surprised that Norwich got the 3 points. But what I'm really hoping is that as Norwich City roll into these tougher fixtures, both at Carrow Road and away, for the remainder of the month, they can have the confidence that actually they can go toe-to-toe with some of the better teams. I mean, technically, apart from Oxford and Sheffield Wednesday, all the teams are better than them. But it will give them that confidence that they can do it, which is... it's encouraging is the word I'd use. Portsmouth getting the victory against Sheffield Wednesday, whilst I suppose unsurprising, is annoying, and probably almost a good reminder to people that we are still very much in this fight. It's going to take a lot to turn it around, but 3 points on the road against Wrexham is a brilliant way to sort of kick off this sort of, I don't even know what I'm going to call it, this attempt to turn things around post the news that your star player doesn't want to play for you anymore. But yeah, really pleased. Would love to know your thoughts in the comments section. Who's your man of the match? For me, I suppose it's got to be Makama, really. It would have been Ahmed if that goal had gone in, but sadly it didn't. I'm incredibly pleased. I'm sure Big Phil will be pleased. Go enjoy Saturday. See you soon.